Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Nightshade's Big Finish. Today we are talking about Jago and Litefoot series 11. Big, amazing, right? Reached 11 box sets really. Now this is obviously a box set, so there's 4 stories, 4 hour-long stories. So we will be doing each one individually and then giving you an overall feel about it. If I'm gonna, I suppose there's might be some spoilers, because I mean, if you're new to Jago and Litefoot, this will be a spoiler. But if you're not new to Jago and Litefoot and Big Fish in general, then this won't be a spoiler. But number 11 features the Master, played by Jeffrey Beavers, so it's a fantastic, exciting box set. But yeah, so let's move on with the first story. So the first story is called Jago and Son and features, obviously, Jago, Henry Gordon Jago, meeting his son, or someone we think is his son. It's always, I think, this story it's probably the weakest one I thought of a box set. It was enjoyable, but I found my mind wandering. It wasn't my favourite story of the set. Definitely the weakest, I thought, but still enjoyable. But yes, so it features, like I say, I suppose, son of Henry Gordon Jago, and it features devil worshippers, the Hellfire Club, and stuff like that. And it's interesting. The chap they got in to play Jago's son is a fantastic character, and the Scope is a fantastic guy, and the scope for him to return, which I hope he does, because it's all left feeling rather ambiguous. Yeah, it's sort of left feeling ambiguous. It's a bit open-ended, the ending. So there's plenty that they could come back and do more with. Yeah, and I like that with the whole box set. There's always a little bit right at the end which sort of carries on the arc. We sort of almost like it is an arc of the Master and what he's up to in Victorian London, and sort of what his plan is and everything. But no, this one not the best story. So I would give Jago and Son a 6 out of 10, which is pretty bad for me. But moving on from that, we've got one called Maurice. Now, Maurice is Maurice, something like that. It features who does it feature again? Maurice Ravel, the great composer. I say great, I've never really heard of him. I've heard of him, but I don't know that well. But yes, it features him, and it features sort of one of the compositions that he did, and the sort of a book that it was inspired by, and it's all rather interesting, a little bit sort of confusing at the same time. And whereas with the other one, it was so almost simple that at times I found myself drifting off. This one's nice and confusing. It engages you. I find it engages your brain. The guy who they've got in to play Ravel is wonderfully wonderful. Wonderfully wonderful, technical term there. But no, I really like who they got in to play him. Yes, he's rather. It's an interesting story, and we see a bit more of the Master. We find out a bit more about the sort of the life that he's leading while he's in Victorian London, because he's not. We find out, you know, that he's not just I mean, we think of a master, we think all he ever does is plot the demise of the Doctor, and he plans his plots for survival and world domination. And we see not a side of him that's nicer, but we see that he's not just doing that. He's doing other stuff as well, which is rather, I think is rather nice. And as always, it's always a pleasure to hear Geoffrey Beevor's voice as the Master. He's fantastic. But no, so it's nice then we get some more bits at the end with the Master, and the story arc progresses even more. But yeah, that one I like Maurice more, I have to admit. So I'd give that one I'd probably give Maurice perhaps 7.5, 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I think, yeah, that seems fair. Really enjoyable. It's a small cast as well. It's a nice small one. It'll really, apart from the regulars, there's only really Ravel who turns up for the majority of it, so it's nice and it's compact, and it takes place all really in one setting, so it's nice like that. After Maurice, the next story is called The Woman in White, and features Bram Stoker, the guy who wrote Dracula, and it's almost like an inspiration. It's like the adventure that he gets on, which involves basically his adventure that he goes on inspires the story of Dracula and vampires. So that should tell you a little bit of something about that. And it's really good. It's sort of, it's not really about vampires, it's a bit more complicated than that, but at the heart of it you've got vampires, you've got Bram Stoker. It's rather nice how they keep on doing that. They did that in series 7 with Arthur Conan Doyle and The Lost World. The adventure that he went on with Jago and Litefoot serves as inspiration for The Lost World. It's really nice how we keep on tying that sort of stuff together. I really like that. I really enjoy those sort of stories that have authors or playwrights or anything like that getting inspiration for their later works because of their adventures with Jago and Litefoot. I think it's really nice. We see some nice character personality stuff with Jago and Bram Stoker, because they're friends. You know, they both work in the arts, both work in the theatre, so they're friends and everything, so we call on each other, and that's a really nice sort of friendship they have there. I think that's really nice. As always, the Master pops up because, you know, he's the Master, he has to. It's really nice like that. And it's never felt, something I really liked about this box set is it's never felt forced. The stuff to do with the Master, the stuff to do with the arc is never forced. It never feels like it's had to be put in there because how else are we going to carry on the arc of the series. It's been really well done, I feel. Oh yes, I've got to give you Woman in White. Yes, really enjoyed it, actually. Really enjoyed it. The guys who wrote it, whose names have absolutely escaped me, Simon Barnard and Paul Maurice, that's it. They have a sort of habit of doing rather funny ones, really. Not so much funny, but rather I always like caricatures of things, and I really like that. I think it's really nice. It's always a nice little deviation from the grimness that is Victorian London. And The Woman in White, which they wrote, it's sort of in their same sort of style. There's a little bit of difference. It's a little bit more serious. than I think they would usually do, but it's really good. I've really enjoyed it. I really like their work. I would give this one definitely an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Yes. So moving on to the final one. The final one is called Masterpiece, and this is where the Master's plan comes to fruition. He's been planning this for 3 episodes. At least 3 episodes, probably more. No, it's really nice. And because it's for Geoffrey Beevor's Master, you can probably guess what the sort of plan is, because we all know what Geoffrey Beevor's Master is all about. It's all about extending his life. He's a nasty, decayed husk of a Time Lord. As you've probably seen from the box work of it all, the Doctor is in it in his 6th incarnation with Colin Baker. It's a chance for Colin Baker to really sort of stretch his acting muscles, and when he eventually enters the story, it's rather amusing how he enters it. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's rather amusing. Yeah, Jago and Litefoot, top form as they have been throughout this whole box set. Absolutely fantastic. Acting from Christopher Benjamin and Trevor Baxter. They absolutely bounce off the Master so well. It's fantastic in every way possible. Like I say, the Master's plan, it's the usual sort of plan for the Geoffrey Beevor's Master, but it's ingenious as well. It's really nice how it's done, and he's really sneaky, the Master. I really like it. I don't know what else there is to say, really. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this box set, actually, despite the bit of a weak, dodgy start with Jago and Son. I really enjoyed each one more and more, and Masterpiece is just fantastic in every way possible, I feel. And as always, there's a little teaser at the end into the next series, and it's basically the Master's fault. The teaser that we get is basically because the Master is a git, and he causes what leads into the next series. It's nice that there's a lasting impact from the Master's visit. Sometimes I think the Master has a habit of coming in, doing something nasty, and there's no impact. And in this box set, that's not true. He has an impact that lasts through into the next box set, even though he probably won't be referenced in the next box set because of what he does in the final story, Masterpiece. There is that lasting effect, which I really like. But Masterpiece, I would give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Geoffrey Beevor's fantastic. We get to hear so much from him, and I love hearing his Master all the time because he's just so deliciously evil. But yes, so Jago and Litefoot Series 11, really good. Really recommend it. Obviously, I recommend any Jago and Litefoot stuff. I'd say start at the beginning, which is Mahogany Murderers, which is a companion chronicles, and then move on to the first one, second one, and blah 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 blah. But no, the acting in the whole of this box set has been fantastic. Benjamin and Baxter were fantastic as Jago and Litefoot. Lisa Bauman as Ellie is wonderful. We get to see she gets a bit more action. She gets to do a bit more sort of stuff that she doesn't usually, which is nice. And we'll definitely be seeing more of her. I think even more sort of, she'll get more almost like screen time in the next series, I think she has to. Conrad Asquith, who plays Inspector Quick, who gets more to do as well in this series, which is nice, and he's a great actor. He's fantastic as well. Yes, it's all really rather good. I'd probably, as a whole, give it a 7 out of 10. Sort of weighing everything up, probably a 7 out of 10. It's a good box set. It's a fantastic box set. It's still not reaching the brilliance, I think, that is Series 2. I really enjoy Series 2. But no, it's really good. I really recommend it. But yes, So that's it. 7 out of 10 for the whole of Jago and Litefoot Series 11. Now then, the next big finish I'll be doing is going to be Vampire of the Mind, which is part 2 in the 2 Master Trilogy of the main range. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up down below. Give me a comment as well if you've listened to Big Finish and what you think of Jago and Litefoot. I'd really want to hear about that. Subscribe for more, and so long for now, viewers.